Well, hi guys. Hi Harry. Nice to have you back. Nice to
Yeah.
have you back, brother. I missed you. I missed you on the last one.
Yeah, I
But
know. You couldn't hold off. You were going
no,
to
I couldn't.
explode if you didn't let your information.
I know. I know. And last time I checked, we got just under 1,000 views on that one, which is pretty good. And this, guys, is going to be a part two. Um, we have got some mind-blowing stuff to show. I know I say that all the bloody time, but just hold on to your hats, guys, because this is going to knock your socks off. Let's get into it, Harry.
Well, the bottom
Uh,
line is what you're going to show us is that the numbers don't lie.
yes, absolutely. Okay. So it's coming, part two. What's coming? Well, oh God, you've got that stupid bloody. Um,
Message over there.
yeah, I don't know why that comes up. I really don't. Let's try again. Okay. All right. This is for all you guys in the UK, which I thought it just tickled me. When you're worrying about your heating bill, just remember how lucky you are. You might be paying to heat Windsor Castle. Oh, I just remembered you are paying to heat it.
Mhm.
Mm. Right, we've got a lot of Queen connections. We've got a lot of all sorts of stuff. Okay, so this popped up on my phone the other day, Thursday, the 7th. 216 plus 1267. All right, well, we all know what 216 is, Harry, right? 6 times 6 times 6. Down here, we've got 42 and 41, very important numbers. Well, what about 1267? 1267 just happens to be 7 times 181. What's the connection there, I hear you ask? Well, again, how many times have we talked about the amount of sevens that we've seen? And if you spell out this, 181 is reversed. Now, all these numbers are important, the 170, the 71, the 73. But just for now, 181 is the connection to this. So it's everything's in the numbers. All right. Now, this is from Sherlock's Apprentice latest. I'm going to leave a link below because this is a mind blow. And, I've taken a few screenshots. Thanks, Mike. He says the best way to understand number bases is to look at them as different languages where the same written number has a different value or meaning. So the written number 10 in different bases. In base 2, it has a value of 2. Base 8 has a value of 8. Don't forget, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. Right? There's no 8, there's no 9 in base 8. Decimal, base 10, it has a value of 10. Base 12, which is the dozenal, it's called a dozen. It has a value of 12. And in base 16, it has a value of 16. Okay, so just think of what we're talking about in different languages. Now, you remember from the last one, Harry, that this was just so weird. I mean, just popped up, randomly popped up. 314. Look at her fingers. Well, this absolutely blew me away. So forget the point for a minute. Just look at the first five numbers. 31415. Okay? 31415. Shout out to Logan. Satan, 31415. I mean, what are the chances, Harry? What are the chances?
This
And
is
the,
one of the best decoded words right there in the
oh,
calendar.
absolutely. Absolutely. Again, guys, 31415, the first five digits of pi, Satan, 31415. Now, Logan often said, and I get him, that Satan means adversary. And what is the adversary of us? Well, it's time. We get old. How many times, Harry, have you said there's just not enough hours in the day? I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
So is time our adversary? Arguably, yeah. So, and the interesting thing, guys, is 31415, if you write it out, is 98, which is the date the Queen died, or the date we're told the Queen died. But what's even more interesting is that in ordinal, it's 226. Well, what's 226 connected to? Boom. Ra, the sun god, radium. Interesting that we have sevens there and we have 88, and we know what 88 means, but 226, 226, 31415, all connected. So we know that Satan is 14 and 55 in English ordinal. Time is 14 and 47 in English ordinal, which is the reverse of 74.
And remember what we were talking about earlier in the day, why time is our enemy too? Because
Yeah,
not only is it because we don't have enough of it, but it creates the stress level. You
yeah.
know, it causes our bodies to create cortisol, which gives us
Decay.
puts us in a position of gaining weight and
Yep.
having problems in our lives. So yeah, time is definitely ticking away at our lives.
Yes. So here I'll just put in Hades, just for Mike mentioned it in his video. It used to be spelled Haides. This spelling gives us 18, which is 6 plus 6 plus 6, and the 37. Well, if you flip over the 37 or the 73, you get L, the EL, the God. It's also the midpoint of the 1937-46.
Mhm.
Jesus is 18. Exit the game of life. Not only is it 74, but it's also 170. And what is 170? World War III. There we have it again. So this is from Mike's first video and my part one, where he's talking about the number 116 in hexadecimal base 16 is 74. And all those words that you see there are all 74, which is connected to exit the game of life. Okay, now this is something I missed in part one, Harry. Zhongguo. Zhongguo is the Chinese name for China. Zhong means middle, Guo means country. We have the 393. We've also got the 22, which is March the 23rd in the Chinese calendar, 2nd of February. We've got the 113, which needs no explanation, but it was the 393 that I missed because I was talking about this one, talking about 189 cases. Well, I mentioned that 393 is connected to 611 in octal, but I forgot to mention that in hexadecimal it's 189. Okay, so you've got 189, which is connected to 393. Okay. I also thought it was interesting the word hell is 37, 16 in Chaldean, 37 in ordinal. And then we looked at this, I am. Now, this again, Harry, this blew me away. The I am, which we know is, I am that I am, the God thing, is 23 and 14. 23 and 14, when added together, 37, midpoint of the 1937-46. Now, if we take 1423 as a time, I don't forget, Harry, we've been talking about this a lot. It's getting so important to start reading things from right to left as well as from left to right. So we'll look at 1423 first. On a 24-hour clock, it would be 1423, but on a wristwatch, you would see 223, which is 322 in reverse, March the 22nd in the US, which is March the 23rd here. So 14 plus 23 is 37, which gives us the midpoint of our 1937-46, all very important numbers. And turn 37 upside down, and you've got L, you've got connection to L. Interesting that my initials are 37. Okay, so Satan, time, God, and mind are all 14 in Chaldean. This is no coincidence. So if we reverse the 1423 and make it 2314, that would be 11:14 p.m. Who was born on 11:14? I'll give you one guess. Can't make this up. Now, the two other connections with this, Harry, not only is he 73 years old, which is the reverse of 37 and is the upside down L, but he was born in 1948. And back in those days, in the 1900s, we never wrote 19. It was just always the last two digits. Well, why is 48 important? The 48th prime is 223. I mean, these connections are just insane, guys. He's 73 years old. Look at this. World War III, 73. Okay, now this was interesting. Shout out to Mike's wife for this. She grabbed this on TikTok and thought it was interesting. So what you're looking at, 1914, 728, is the date of World War One, which adds to 68. 1939, 91 adds to 68, and the one that started this year on 224 also adds to 68. Now, isn't it interesting, Harry, that 8 and 6 adds to 14? Nothing to see here, guys. So, in our suspected date of March 23rd, 2023, adds to 69, but that's in China. The US is like 13 hours behind, at least 13 hours. I mean, Harry, I think you're 15 hours behind me. So 3 plus 22 plus 20 plus 23 is 68. Can't make this up. So from the date that they tell us she died until Charlie's birthday is 68 days. 68 is 2 to the power 2 times 17. Also has a 44 connection in hexadecimal. Now, again, this is mind-blowing. In the West, the term LOL, meaning laughing out loud or laugh out loud, has become very popular in text messaging. In China, the equivalent is 233, supposedly coming from Mopol chat around 2003, 23, means ha ha ha. But if you say 233's san san, that does not sound like ha ha ha. Now, these are text messaging emojis, right? Whirling means I love you. Why, I don't know, because war I need is I love you, not whirling. 555 is interesting. Woo, woo, woo. Crying. Woo, woo, woo. And the 666 actually means awesome, excellent. Leo, leo, leo. Ba is 8. So, you know, if you put 8, it means bye-bye, basically. But how the hell do you get san san to sound like LOL? Laughing out loud. It just doesn't make sense. So we know it doesn't sound like ha ha ha, but if it's the equivalent to LOL or LOL in lowercase, remember the 101 connection is the tower, the largest tower in Taiwan. 101. Now, from Charlie's birthday until the day he's chosen for his quote unquote coronation is 201 days. And I don't need to explain 201, guys. Can't make this up. All right. Queen Elizabeth is 66 and 55. We know 55 is Satan, and we know what 66 means. It's also 69, which is the reverse of her age when she allegedly fell over. Satan is 55, as we know, and 14, as we just talked about. If you write out, say, 10, you get the 33 and the 19. And we know how important those two numbers are. Okay, we've got a 23 here, a hidden 23, and with the 101, I mean, come on. Florida, 101. Give me a break. Okay, look at the overlaps here, guys, to 233. I mean, 71, 170, 181, and the 625. This is just crazy.
So maybe what they're saying is if they can predict World War III, they can say ha ha ha.
Yeah, quite well. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Right. So I wanted to throw this in because Mike sent me a couple of interesting screenshots. So we're all aware of 1318. Here's wisdom talking about the number of the beast, the number of our man. This is more deception, along with the 4 horsemen, which is a complete deception. I'm going to show you in a minute. Now, Harry, your native language is Greek. Yeah. What does the Greek word for atmans here? What does it mean?
It doesn't mean like possessive, but it means like mankind.
Mankind, yeah. Which is exactly what the interlinear says. It's a human mankind. Okay, not a man. It's witchcraft. Look at the overlaps between witchcraft and the Waki. 111, 48, 37. Can't make this up. Now, I thought this was Greek, but you told me it's not, Harry. It's probably Latin.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at the bottom. Last edited 22 hours ago. March 23 in Chinese calendar is February 2, 2, 2. But anyway, this word means number. Okay. Number. Name. The number of his name. The number. The name. What is numen? In the Latin dictionary. Divine will, divinity, God. Okay. The mark of the beast is our name. Now, from March the 13th, 2013, 313, which is when the Pope was put into office, until our date of March 23 is 10 years, 10 days. It's your 101 connection again. And Mike suggested, what if, he said, Nigel, what if it's 2033? Well, I think that's too far. With what's going on at the moment, I don't think they're going to wait another, 11 or so years. But it's interesting that from the date that the what's it was announced until that date is 13 years and 13 days. Just interesting. And it's also connected to, look what we got here, guys. We've got Luke 1:1, we've got the 11 or the 101. Hepta 2033 means 7. What is 7? Well, if you look at the bottom, the number 7 in scripture often has the figurative meaning God's perfect finished work. 2033. Which is connected, again, the 7 to Ra, sevens. And 2033 just happens to be the Chinese New Year in 2033 just happens to start on the 31st of January. There's another 311, 113 connection.
I actually looked up the Papiamento, and that is a Caribbean Dutch language. That one word that you were asking, and not Latin.
It's okay.
Caribbean Dutch language.
That one, Papiamento.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. Dutch. And I'll tell you why. Oh, that's an awesome connection. Watch this. Well, I'll get there in a sec. Remember the Dutch, Harry?
Yeah.
All right. So we've got royal family and mind control. Shout out to Rambo from the Truth Codes for this. We have an overlap 5 out of 6. 5 out of 6. And the royal family, we've got the 170, we've got the 71, we've got the 73. Charlie's age. Which is an overlap in 3 ciphers with this. The royal family. That one's, whoops. That one's just royal family. Okay. 137, which is the 33rd prime number, if you didn't know. And the royal family. Now, we know that the Queen's passing was connected to London Bridge, right? London Bridge is falling down. Well, this is a bridge that got blown up a couple of days ago, allegedly. It's just the bridge connection. And Rambo, the Truth Codes, I'll leave the link below. He makes an awesome. If you watch that video and still believe we're not in a scripted reality, I don't know what to say. Okay, so Mike's going back here to the 4 horsemen. Initially, we're told of 4 living creatures. Later, they're called horses from the Greek hippos. But I think they were dragons, not horses. Remember, China is the dragon. Maybe from the sea, the first beast, the dragon in Revelation 13. In nature, seahorses and sea dragons are from the same family. And he's quoted here, he's quoting here the leafy sea dragon, okay, is horses and dragons looking very similar. The family of animals, including pipefish, it is the male that cares for the eggs in a special pouch, i.e. male pregnancy. Well, we can see here, this word here includes sea dragons, pipefish, and sea horses, the leafy sea dragon. Dragon and horse are a perfect match in Chaldean. And remember, from the first video, 23rd of March is the 2nd of February on the Chinese calendar. Now, this is the Dutch thing again, Harry. Mike says, I remember from old research that white had an old and Middle English spellings of HWIT and WIT. WIT is also Dutch for white still today. Wit has the meaning of having knowledge, education, enlightened, even, witty, funny. Hence, a not so clever person is labeled a dimwit or a half-wit. Mike says he thinks this is where the words witch, wizard, and Wiccan come from. Could be right. So here we have what we're told are the four horses. Now look at the fourth one, guys. Would you say that's grey or green? Because, in some, well, in the Bible, for argument's sake, it says grey. But if you look at the etymology, it actually means pale green, which is interesting. So he's used the word wit for the white horse. Wit, red, black, and grey are all 11 in Chaldean. There's your 101. And if he adds the word dragon in all four names, you get 33. Can't make this up, which is connected to 137. 137 is the 33rd prime. And what does that look like? Is that a horse or a dragon? What do you reckon, Harry?
I think it's the latter.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to put a link to Mike's channel. He explains a little bit more about how he makes these, working with these numbers and how the different languages. So I'll put a link to his video. Guys, go over and show him some love. He's only, when I did the first podcast, Harry, Mike's, he'd only got 100 and something subs. He's got over 200 now. So thanks, guys. It looks like 50 or 60 of you went over there and showed him some love. So thanks, really appreciate that. He's a lovely, lovely guy, and his research is impeccable. I'm also going to put a link to the Truth Codes. This is Rambo. Rambo's work, again, is off the charts. It's absolutely insane. It's so funny that he was talking about Prince, the singer. That's his, because the Prince died on the Queen's birthday, April 21. And it's interesting that this was the screenshot that I just randomly grabbed one, and it's this for 226, which is the connection to Ra. That's Prince Rogers Nelson. That's his full name, apparently. So we're told. Oh, right. And before we go, guys, I'm going to change the subject very, very quickly, because I'm so sick of people talking about this frigging sun simulator. Right? Oh, it's a sun simulator in the sky. No. Let me tell you what a sun simulator does. Harry, you know this. My dad, before he retired, had his own laboratory, right? He's a materials testing engineer, right? Now, if you're a car manufacturer or a plane manufacturer, you want to know what 20 years of sunlight is going to do to your dashboard or your paintwork or the seals or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So this is what these sun simulators do, right? They would send a dashboard or something to my dad and say, right, how will this be affected with, after 20 years in the sun? And my dad would have to provide a report and tell them exactly what would happen to that dashboard. Would it crack? Would it fade? What would it do after 20 years of sunlight? So guys, when you see these other channels talking about the sun simulator, it ain't what they think it is. Okay? They do exist.
It's not something floating in the sky with a balloon.
No,
it's
no.
Just a device that people use to test materials.
It's used in manufacturing, or used not for manufacturing, used in manufacturing, right? To, what's 20 years of sunlight going to do to your window frames?
Yeah.
Well, send a window frame to my dad and he'll tell you what 20 years of sunlight's going to do. And if you've got to alter the manufacturing process accordingly, then so be it. They're sending paint. I remember, I think it was British Leyland back in the UK many years ago now. They sent him a sample of paint. They were so confident that they painted all these cars with it and put them out in the compound. And my dad tested the paint and said, sorry, guys, it's going to fall off. And they'd already painted all these cars. So they had to strip them all and do it again. So that's what sun simulators do, guys. Okay? It's not some crazy conspiracy theory of some looking big yellow hot balloon up in the sky. No. Okay? So, so what do you think, Harry?
again, if you don't think that we're living in some kind of simulation, or at least someone who's trying to deceive us and make us think that they're predicting everything, no, man
No,
cannot do this.
no.
Man cannot do this.
Well, if you haven't watched Rambo's yet, Harry, I strongly suggest you do. It's a mind blow because he talks about Charlotte, Princess Charlotte, and he shows at the funeral, she's heavily featured in photographs, right? And she's Charlotte of Cambridge. There's your bridge connection, your CC connection, right?
Yeah.
Um, and he relates it all the way back to a 1952 book called Charlotte's Web about the spider, because there was a spider on the funeral casket. There was a card, or supposed to be a card on top of the funeral, a fucking spider on there, right? And I mean, Rambo's awesome at deciphering, decoding all this kind of stuff. And the video's like, it's half an hour, give or take. It's an absolute must watch. When you look at the connections that he shows between the royal family and Charlotte's Web, and honestly, Harry, the whole thing is a script beyond any shadow of a doubt. Beyond any shadow of a doubt, man. I'll put the links below, guys. The link to Sherlock's Apprentice and the link to Truth Codes if you haven't already seen it. Rambo's work is on another level. You know, we got deep respect for people like Logan on his level, and Mike from Sherlock's Apprentice on his level, and Rambo. Just sometimes that one. I mean, I watched all Rambo's videos for the last couple of years, but this one he excels himself. Honestly, this has to be probably the best one I think that he's ever put out there. It's an absolute mind blow. Once you get your head around it, and once you get your head around these numbers, which is not difficult, you know, I know we've had comments on the channel about, you know, it's difficult, usually from ladies. Difficult to get my head around these numbers. I know it is. It's supposed to be difficult. It was designed to be difficult. You know, I've only started to learn not just the gematria, but all these number properties that Mike has been teaching me, and because he's been studying them himself. You know, I'm going to get him on. I'm going to get him on the show at some point and get him to run through these different bases and give an explanation rather than writing something down. Okay, so I'll touch base with him and see when he's free. Hopefully next weekend. Might be good. Sometimes his weekends are flat out busy, and other times they're not. So I'm sure he'll find the time. He's on the same time as me, so you know, it's not like we've got a time difference between us. So we can probably hook up. So yeah, I mean, it's just a mind fuck. Absolutely.
Yeah, with regard to that, like the Mockingbird media, how they all mimic one another when they're telling the news. I had run into a video I'd seen years ago where Barack Obama is giving I think his speech while during his campaign, and there's another guy who had the same speech 6 years earlier, and it was verbatim the same speech.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Charles did the same when he's giving his speech about his passing mother.
Yeah.
It's from a play. It's
Yeah.
from a play when King George is saying the same thing about his mother.
Yes.
You know, and it was ad verbatim. It was word for word.
Yeah.
It's all a script.
It's
all of it.
So I ended up sharing that on our history group. So if anyone has a chance to check that out, I mean, it's just it's ridiculous to think that people can't do a little research and find
Oh God,
evidence that these people are not doing nothing more than plagiarizing others work, others speech, you know, and just repeating the same thing. It's a mockery. It's a total mockery.
Total mockery. I'll put the link to our Telegram group below again, guys. Welcome to the new members, the guys that joined from my last podcast. So yeah, the more members, the better. I mean, we talk about all kinds of stuff in there. It began as history, didn't it? His story.
Yeah.
And I mean, we still talk about fake history and that in there, but pretty much anything goes. So if you want to be part of that, guys, link will be below.
And I want to mimic what you had talked about. 216. We would talk about that number all the time. Well, in Genesis 2:16, God commands Adam and Eve to do something. He tells them to eat of all the fruits in the garden, right? All the trees in the garden. Yeah. And I'm going to tie that on my next podcast. I'm going to tie that into this book, which is called Tissue Cleansing Through Bowel Management. It's a book that I bought several years ago, and I'm just now getting through to reading it. And it talks about how our body cannot sustain itself based on our diet, the foods that we're eating, and the poisons. And so I've titled this Poison, because we're poised in. It's inside.
Yeah, you sent me the PPT. Yeah, it's pretty good. That'll be our next podcast.
It's a quick one. It's only about 10, 12 slides at most.
10 slides.
But 10 slides. It tells you everything. It doesn't. We don't have to be long-winded when we're going to talk about what we're being done health-wise here.
Yeah. Well, I think most people have got most people on this channel anyway have got an idea that that the things they say that are good for us are not, and the things that they say are not good, well, a lot.
You gotta see. I have a chart that distinguishes between natural and organic.
Yeah.
And you think they're swapped, but they're not.
No. What they've done, Harry, is they've inverted everything. All right. Just everything in this realm is upside down. It's flipped. Yeah. Remember, we're even born upside down. Yeah. Rambo's going to be doing a video, I think, on the Hanged Man, which is going to be quite interesting. You remember from 2001 what happened? You remember that the TV showed a guy falling, and he was literally making the pose of the hangman with his leg kink. Yeah. It's all scripted. It's all there. It's all scripted. So yeah, eyes are watching March the 23rd/22nd, where you are, Harry. And again, I say that because it's the reversal of what happened in 2020. When the announcement came on March 11, it was March 12 here. Now it's going to be reversed. It will kick off on March 23 here, which will be March 22 where you are. That's what Mike and I are seeing. And if you watch his video, it's only just a bit less than 15 minutes. How he connects the numbers that he's been seeing, and I've been seeing as well, are just absolutely off the charts. They really, really are. Absolutely no doubt we're in some kind of script. No doubt whatsoever. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, look, we'll leave it there. We've only got 5 minutes left of our 40 minutes, so we'll leave it there. Please comment below. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you think. Apologies for the last one, not the last, the one that I did solo, not the one before that. When we recorded that, Harry, you said the audio was fine, and yet when you play it back, it's just not very good at all. But
is that the one without the mic?
Yeah, it's when I use the computer audio. But you said it sounded okay when we were recording.
It's the speaker when you're not having the headset. That's all.
Oh, okay. All right, guys, we shall leave it there, and we'll see you hopefully next weekend.
All right.